started.
Oh,
It's a whole new social media place, which is beautiful, 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 beautiful. Yeah. Yeah.
oh,
So
sorry.
yeah. Anyway, all right. So yeah, you guys missed out on a fun night over the pier. So that just, and I will go ahead and put this video up on the website so you can go in and watch and look at it if you want to. A couple announcements. On November the 12th, just put this on your calendar. We're going to have what we're going to call this a one-day Tampa Bay Camera Club. For those of us in this area, we are planning on meeting at 4 p.m. in Dunedin, Florida, over on the coast. And we'll get dinner there and we'll shoot for a little while. We'll probably shoot for a little while to get dinner and then shoot some more, just depending on the weather and all that. So it's going to be after the time change. So it'll be getting dark earlier. So we'll have to play that by ear. It's pouring out there. If you're not in Florida or in this area, you are welcome on that very same day to go shoot in your own area. We'd like you to do it for that one day, that Saturday, November the 12th. Wherever you are, so that everybody in the club can participate in this. And then what we'll do is after that, everybody needs to, process their images in a timely manner, and we'll figure out how many we're going to ask you to send, maybe 5 to 8 images, and we'll create a slideshow like the one you just saw for that day, which would be kind of cool to see where everybody lives. So keep that in mind. I will be doing an announcement on the website. And I'll talk about it in future meetings, but it's planned for November the 12th.
So we're not changing the date?
No.
Hey,
no.
Lynn, I'll
Okay.
still be up in the mountains. Can I do one up there?
Yeah. So you're not coming back on the 11th because the workshop ends at 11. Yeah.
I know, I'm gonna extend it
You
by
can shoot
2 days.
wherever if you're not in the area, just shoot wherever you are on that day.
Okay.
So, and I did notice a couple people on those images that I just showed you. That some of you guys need to check your date on your cameras and the time. And don't forget to change the time when the time changes, especially when you move around. Okay, a couple other announcements. The end of the year or our annual awards or our Christmas party, whatever you want to call it, is on December the 4th. So put that on your calendar. That is a Sunday. It'll be at 1 p.m. and we will be doing it at Felipe Park. It's over in Safety Harbor, where we've had it for the last 2 years. It's been worked out great. It's a big, huge pavilion that we decorate in Christmas decorations, and lots of tables for those of you who have not been there before. And the last 2 years, we've had a blast there. So in December 4th, those of you guys aren't in Florida, we're sorry, you can come and visit us if you want. So it's December the 4th. And at 1 p.m. So put that on your calendar. Again, more information will be coming up for closer to that date.
It's worth the trip.
Pardon?
It's worth the trip if you come down.
It's sort of in between. Yeah, it's for us here in Tampa. We put it there because it's in between Pinellas and Tampa, so nobody has to drive too far. But if you guys are someplace else up north like Ohio, you want to come down here for the Christmas party, Doris, or Texas, or California even, you can come down here and join us on the 4th of December. I'm going to share my screen again real quick. Lots of sharing tonight. One other thing I wanted to remind you all about is, let's get rid of this and this. And remember, this thing is in the way. Ugh. On our website, if you go up here to the menu thingy and go to the second page at the very top, which is now covered up because of this, we have the donate button. And Robert, I made it nice and orange for you just because you wanted it.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you click on this, it will take you to our PayPal page, and you can put whatever amount in you want. This goes towards our education and presentations, because we, any of our outside speakers, we have to pay them. So it's helpful to get a little donations from you guys, and we really appreciate the help for that. So we don't bankrupt the club with all these speakers. So anyway, back to not sharing. The last bits here are our assignments for this month are panoramas, as you know. For October, it's ICM or intentional camera movement. And I believe I sent you guys an email a few weeks ago with a really good video on it about ICM. And then that was like the beginning video, or like 101, and there's 102 and 103. I believe they were produced by B&H Video and Photo, this camera store up in New York. So, if you go back to those emails, if you want me, I'll try to dig it out and send it again. But yeah, so if you're not familiar with ICM, it's a lot of fun. It's frustrating because you get a lot of garbage, but it's still a lot of fun. And it's a fun thing to do when you get stuck in a creative rut. So ICM is the subject for next week or next month. And in November, our assignment is for fall colors. So however creatively you want to do fall colors, it is up to you. Our next education night, which will be next Friday night, is going to be time lapse, and Jim is going to be doing that. Let me do another real quick screen share for you. I got all kinds of stuff for you tonight, guys. I'm like, I have too much time on my hands.
Then I just resent out that
email. If you're
email.
not sure what a time lapse is, here's an example of a time lapse.
I'll be covering time lapse and hyperlapse.
Yep.
Lynn, again, just to correct, you did say Friday, but you meant Thursday, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
it's Thursday. I'm sorry. Old dogs, new tricks. So this is what a time lapse looks like. This one, obviously, he's done multiple sections and then put them together to make this like 2.5 minute long thing. But that's what a time lapse is. We had some people that weren't sure what a time lapse. Some of this is more hyper than it is time lapse, but
I haven't seen a hyperlapse in here yet, Lynn.
Oh, okay, that's true.
This is all time lapse.
Yeah, it's all time
There,
lapse.
this is a hyperlapse.
This is
Now
hyperlapse.
you've got a hyperlapse. That's a
Yeah.
hyperlapse right there.
Yeah, just so you
That's
guys
a
know
hyperlapse.
what we're
What's
going
a
to be talking about.
hyperlapse?
The camera is in motion.
Yep.
The camera is in motion, or the field of view changes during the time lapse. You notice all the others, the camera was stationary.
Right.
Stationary
That's-
camera is a time lapse. Moving camera or moving perspective is a hyperlapse.
So the car's moving is a hyperlapse?
Yeah,
No, that's a time
No.
lapse. When the camera moves,
yeah. these
see
are
if the
all
camera is moving here,
Yeah,
that's a
okay.
hyperlapse. The camera is moving.
yeah.
The subject is not moving, but the camera was moving.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you still have it on the timer, but the,
Yeah, that's a time
Yeah.
lapse there.
Yeah.
So this is just, I'm going to go ahead and stop it. This is enough. It's 2.5 minutes long. But if you're interested, Michael Shane Bloom is a friend again. He's a fantastic photographer. He is the reason why we are meeting on Thursdays now, because he's a young guy and he couldn't come and talk to us on a Friday because he has a girlfriend that lives in the Valley. He lives in San Francisco. And so he would have to leave and not be able to come to our meeting. So that got us thinking, why are we meeting on Friday night? So anyway, Michael's stuff is really good. He does a lot of time lapses, and he also has some beautiful galleries if you're interested. I mean, like, his images are awesome. He does Milky Way stuff. I mean, he is really a really nice guy, and he's super shy though. He was scared to death of doing a presentation for us. So I tried to talk him into it, and he just wouldn't do it. So maybe next year. So anyway, stop sharing again. Okay. And
Hey.
so that's for this coming week. And then in October, we're going to have Jennifer Renwick, Renwick. She is another young photographer. She's based in Colorado, and she shoots primarily in the western part of the United States. Valerie, you may know her. She spends a lot of time in Death Valley. I met her at Death Valley in January. She's really nice, and she's going to be talking to us about landscape photography and particularly shooting at blue hour and what you need to do to get good blue hour shots, which, that gives you a whole blue hour is like 20 minutes long. It's not really an hour. So she's going to be talking about that, and she may share some other stuff with us as well. So and then she's going to obviously answer questions. So that's our October education night. We will not have a education night in November because it falls on Thanksgiving weekend. And in December, all we have is the annual party. So we have no exhibition night or education night in December. So any questions about anything we've talked about tonight? Okay, Jim, you have anything to add?
Yeah, like I say, next week I'm doing the time lapse hyperlapse presentation, which is in the end, you do produce video from what you shoot from stills. Also want to just see if anybody is interested, just private message me, get in touch with me. If anyone is interested in video itself and learning video and whatever, contact me. I'm thinking about putting some stuff together to be teaching that. There's been some talk that we might even do that for some camera club stuff for an upcoming competition, possibly one time or whatever, or exhibition, I should say, as a possibility for entering stuff. So if you're interested, get with me on that. Also, the waterfall and landscape tour that I'm doing in November. Want to make anybody aware that one of the gentlemen that has a room in the house I have rented has an extra bed in the room, and he said he's willing to share that if anybody wants to share a room, a male with another male that has an extra bed in his room. Get in touch with me. I can let you know details on that if you're interested in going on the trip.
It's November the 7th through the 11th.
Correct.
Yeah.
4 nights.
4 nights. Yeah.
North Georgia. It's Georgia and North Carolina, waterfalls and fall landscapes.
Yeah. The waterfalls up there are gorgeous, guys. Beautiful, beautiful. We've been out there multiple times.
Yeah.
So
Rabun County has more waterfalls than any other county in the United States.
yeah, it's beautiful. And in the fall, it's beautiful in the spring, but even better in the fall. So.
Mm-hmm. But I do have a guy that has an extra bed in his room that said he's willing to willing to share his room with somebody if they want to make use of that bed for a male attendee. Mm-hmm.
Robert, anything for you on your side?
I just want to apologize for being late. I really actually overslept.
Are you in Texas or are you here?
I'm in Texas. I'm actually in New Mexico next week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's next week.
Next week.
But I did a class today. I had a beautiful class up at Dunedin Fine Arts Center. If you have anyone that's interested in doing photography here in Florida and want to go learn beginning stage of photography in a group, I'm at the Fine Arts Center, and we had a big class today, and I was exhausted. And my alarm clock, for the first time in my life, my alarm clock went off, and I just didn't hear it.
You slept right through it.
I slept right through it.
They wore you out, huh?
Oh, they did. They did. And it was a lot of fun. But I said, I have to get a little bit of rest before the camera club, and a little bit turned into a lot. So thanks, Jack, for calling me, emailing me, and you guys who text me. I appreciate it. Appreciate the love.
Anything else from any of the other officers? Okay, then I guess we can get started on this. Jim McWilliam, are you ready?
I am.
You ready? Okay. You got your peepers on, you got your glasses on so you can see the pictures?
I have
right.
somebody else's glasses on.
One more share. All right, let's get to Lightroom. All right. Okay, so we've got 28 assigned and 23 general. It's not quite as many as last week or last year. Boy, I'm having a problem with my calendar.
Last month.
So I'm going to try to give us as much room as possible here, so we can see what we're doing while we're getting doing these panoramas. So the first one is called Park Ave in Arches National Park. Hold on a second. Let me get my score sheet ready. Got ahead of myself here. Okay. And I gotta be able to see what Jim is sending to me. All right, we're good.
When you go to the Blackboard, you can solve the problem.
All right, Jim, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and send it to me.
Class is already over.
Why is this thing not working? Hold on a second. I'm having a little issue here. There we go. My iPad is being persnickety. Score is 24. That's an award for Jack. Next one is enjoying majestic views. Score is 23. That's an award for Chuck. Next one is Beach Island Sunrise. Score is 23. That's an award for Barry. Next one is 42nd Street to 59th Street. Score is 23. That's an award for Doris. Next one is German Village on the Rhine.
These people traveled far to get this assignment done.
Yep.
Holy banana brains.
Lynn, you should move your mouse cursor. It's on the same place on everybody's photo. In the upper left, right in the middle on the left.
My cursor is over here.
I'm seeing another one.
Maybe that's your cursor.
That is your cursor.
That's your cursor.
You are correct. I'm a buffoon.
And you just cursed Lynn, so don't curse
Watch it, bud.
her about her cursor.
Score is 22. That's an honorable mention for Sylvia. Next one is The House in the Vineyard. Score is 23. That's an award for Karen. Next one is Fall Lake Reflection. Score is 23. That's an award for Brian. Next one is Nobody's Going Anywhere. Score is 23. That's an award for Jan. Next one is the National Cemetery at Little Bighorn. Score is 23. That's an award for Alan. Next one is Mount Rushmore. Score is 23. That's an award for Alan. Next one is Bambara Castle. This is infrared. Score is 23. That's an award for myself. Next one is Loch Lomond from Above. Score is 23. That's an award for Lee. Next one is Loch Lomond. Score is 23. That's an award for Lee. Next one is Teton Mountain Range. Score is 23. That's an award for Kathy. Next one is Flight of the Pronghorns.
How the hell?
Score is 23. That's an award for Kathy. Next one is St. Pete Pier Sunrise. Score is 23. That's an award for Lourdes. Next one is Downtown St. Pete. Score is 23. That's an award for Lourdes. Next one is Chalura Park, downtown Tampa. Score is 23. That's an award for Jim McWilliam. Next one is Benoit Plaza. And if I pronounce that wrong, I'm sorry. I don't know how to speak French. Score is 23. That's an award for Fong. Next one is Evening in St. Petersburg. Score is 22. It's an honorable mention for Fong. Next one is University of Tampa Bell Tower. And what was the comment on there? Quasimodo position available. Score is 23. That's an award for Jim McWilliam. Next one is First Light. Score is 23. That's an award for Jan. Next one is Fort Lauderdale. Score is 23. That's an award for Sherry Kelzinski. Next one is Sunset Reflection. 5 files from drone camera stitched into a pano. And that's Jim's image, so we don't give him a score. Jim Sykes.
Thank you.
Next one is Tampa Skyline. Score is 23. That's an award for Diana Rao. Oopsie. All right, guys. I had to screw up at least once. Backyard garden. Score is 23. That's an award for Leon. Next one is take a breath. Oh, excuse me, a breathtaking view. Score is 23. That's an award for Valerie. Last but not least is magazine cover, 15 files stitched into a pano. There are 3 rows of 5 images. And this again is Jim Sykes's image as an example of what you can do with a pano. It doesn't have to always be long and narrow.
Yeah, I'll talk
So-
about it specifically later for the technique.
Yep.
Lynn,
right.
Lynn, this is Jack. I presume you didn't get my black and white submission.
Yeah, I sent you an email back. I could not download it, and I never heard back from you.
Oh, I never
Yeah.
got your email.
Yeah,
Oh, all right.
it was something. It was, I don't know if the file was corrupt or something. And I sent you an email almost immediately saying that I couldn't get it, and I guess you didn't see it. So I'm sorry.
No, I did not. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, there was
Thank
something.
you.
It was weird. It just the file just wouldn't do anything. It just sat there. It was like, you know.
May I submit it next month for catch up?
Yeah, you could try it as a, yeah, we'll take it in as a makeup for
Thank
next
you.
month. Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right, we're gonna go ahead and get started on generals. Ready, ready, Jim, McWilliam? Did you stretch?
Yep,
I think.
I'm ready. No, I didn't stretch.
Okay, do a stretch.
I'm still the same size.
Okay, okay. All right, this first one is a portrait of an angel.
Something's wrong with my,
Your chat.
yeah, it's not letting me.
Close the box and open it up again.
Yeah.
See if that helps. And do me a
Yeah.
favor, go put like ZZZ so I can differentiate between the
Okay. Well, I just,
Find in the general, yeah, just put it, that's okay, I've got it here. Yeah, ZZZ, so, okay,
okay. But did you get the score?
yeah,
Okay.
got it. Score is 23, that's an award for Jack. Next one is Frigate Bird and Frigate Bird and Breeding Glory. Sometimes my mouth does not want to work.
Are those bats back there?
I think that's just wood.
Oh,
We'll
okay.
talk about that in a minute. Score is 23. It's an award for Diana Rao. she's making her bird sound. Okay. Next one is team. Oh, just team. Score is 22. It's an honorable mention for Barry. Next one is diverse design. Score is 24. And it's award for Dom. Next one is Himba Tribe Friend. Score is 23. That's an award for Diana Rao. Next one is Dead Tree with a View. Score is 23. That's an award for Brian. Next one is Foggy Morning for Some. Score is 22. It's an honorable mention for Brian. Next one is White Lily. Score is 23. That's an award for Sherry Kelzinski. Next one is Sunflower with a little bug. Score is 23. That's an award for Sherry Kelzinski. Next one is Pablo. Score is 23. That's an award for Karen. Next one is Puffin in Heaven. Score is 23. That's an award for myself. Next one is Along the Shore of Loch Lomond. Score is 23. That's an award for Lee. Next one is Hummingbird. Score is 24. That's an award for Leon. Love his little tongue sticking out. Sleepy Orange Butterfly. Score is 24. That's an award for Leon. Next one is Beautiful Fjord of Norway. Score is 23. That's an award for Fong. Next one is Mixed Emotions. Score is 23. That's an award for Sylvia. Next one is Chasing Storm Clouds. Somebody got carried away with their panoramas. Couldn't pick out which one they wanted to use. Score is 23. That's an award for Jan. Walking on Air. Score is 23. That's an award for Karen. Next one is Cloud Reflections. Score is 23. That's an award for myself. Next one is Reaching for Blue Sky, and this is infrared. Score is 23. That's an award for Barry. Next one is His and Hers, an extra panel submitted just for Robert's amusement and commentary.
So do we rate this or not?
Yeah, you can.
No.
No, you don't have
You
to.
could-
This is Jim's
but,
joke.
and Robert says he's having problems with his throat, lost his voice. So
Okay. Yeah. So darn it. I think he knew this was coming.
I thought it might get a rise out of him.
Yeah. Yeah, not tonight, I guess.
Oh
Is
my
that-
God, all the innuendos here. Geez, I thought this was a G-rated club.
Yeah,
I missed that one.
this is worse than the selfies I had.
Please. God, no. Spare us.
Okay, moving on. Feeding frenzy. Score is 23. That's an award for Valerie. And last but not least is Paddle Surfing the Western Lights. score is 23. That's an award for Valerie. And that's everything. So guys, let's take a 5-minute break and we'll come back and start doing the commentaries. Come back at 7:57.
Hey, Lynn.
Yeah.
Yeah, since Robert's having issues with his voice tonight, do you want to jump in on critique with me tonight?
I always do. I will.
Okay.
We want everybody to join in, not just me.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question.
Sure.
It's just meant for it's being asked for learning purposes. I mean, I saw the scores so much higher today, which really is a good reflection on the stuff we're learning from the camera club and the way you're pushing. I mean, I can speak for myself, the way you're pushing me out of my comfort zone, because this is not anything I would do. But I know I want to learn for my education, and just like, I thought all the photos were phenomenal. And what sets one photo up versus as a 23, and what sets one as a 24? And when we get to those that were scored 24, would it be okay for you guys to say what tipped the scale on that part?
That's typically what the whole commentary critique part is about. When we talk about the images, that's the idea, is you can pick up from what we say why we scored it the way we did based on what we have to say about it.
It wasn't based on the scores I got. I was very satisfied with the scores I got. I've never shot a panoramic in my life except for my iPhone. But
Mhm.
I'm just wondering, what I need to do.
Well, just FYI, Diana, and to everybody, the difference in these scores are minimal, all of them.
Okay.
We're talking the
quality of the entries has really improved the last 2 years here with what's going on.
Scoring.
And there were very minor. There were a couple minor things as far as me scoring that I'll mention that were just tenths of a point. Minor stuff one way or the other, but the point behind this particular competition subject was not to have you crop an image in a panorama crop, but to actually create a stitched panorama. The exact wording says, create a wide angle image, either horizontally or vertically, using sequential frames and stitching them together via post-processing. So there were some images that, looked like they were just a panorama crop of a single image. And, in that case, if it wasn't actually obvious that the exercise of this assignment was to stitch images together, there were some minor deductions, on that. And also when it was, obvious that somebody really went to the trouble to do that and work within the terms of the assignment, you got a few bonus tenths of a point from me.
Right. And the other thing is I accidentally sent the wrong photo, but and I'm having issues with that. No, I did. It's just because when I went to try to send it the normal way, it bounced because it said it was too big. I know. I'm a retard. I
need to come to your house.
You do.
Robert makes it too complicated. I can make it super easy for you real quick.
Okay. Well, you'll have a chance. I'll bring my laptop up to.
Okay. I haven't said yes yet.
You did.
No, I haven't. Anyway.
And no more self-deprecating remarks.
No, for sure.
That's you, Diana.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there are things I'm good at, and this mailing things is just not my cup of tea.
She does have some. She definitely has some computer issues.
She ends
Still
up
no need for name calling. That's not good for your psyche.
I know. I read that. There's a really good book called The Mental Health Diet that says stop calling yourself an idiot and a dummy and all this other stuff.
That's right. I believe that.
Yeah, it's a good book. I just haven't listened to it.
Obviously haven't paid attention.
No, I haven't. All say is I'm a work in progress.
Aren't we all?
Yes, yes. My husband says I'm progressing a little too slowly at times, but oh well. At least I'm progressing. Could be regressing. Anyway. Hey, so on another note, I know that we don't have an official trip planned for December, but I think I mentioned it once before. I think it would be really fun if we could do like a camera club trip to the Largo lights, the Largo Botanical Garden at Christmas time. Just as a fun,
Yeah.
if people, want to take a break. We're not going to have any money to spend anyway by Christmas time. So we can
that we could do something like, I don't like to try to organize anything other than the party. And when we do that early in the month, because people are so busy with everything else that's
Right.
going on. But yeah, we could, figure out a date and just sort of say, anybody that wants to come, come on and join us, there. I mean, and Leslie said a thing a couple days ago about a sand or the painting that they do on the streets in Sarasota.
In Venice.
Yeah. And that's, I think, at the end of September or October. I can't remember now. But yeah, that's another one that, you guys can, we'll send you this information. If you're interested, go do it. I'm hesitant to, stuff like that kind of has a tendency to get rained out occasionally. I don't want to make a trip out of something that might not be there when we get there. It's kind of like going to Cape Canaveral for a blast.
Right.
We were over at New Smyrna. We thought we were going to get to see the Artemis go up on the whatever it was 2 weeks ago on Saturday. 5 minutes before it was supposed to go off, or like not 5 minutes, maybe 20 minutes before it was supposed to go off, they canceled it. So unfortunately we weren't there for just that. But yeah, going over there, I mean, they've canceled that thing 3 times now. So
Sarasota also has an art festival, a chalk art festival that they do, and that's a little bit closer.
Yeah.
I forgot what time they all start having all of these. And then the other one that I thought about, Lynn, that would be a weekend trip was that butterfly place in Miami.
Yeah, there's a Butterfly World is in Coconut Creek down in South Florida. That's if you've never been there, is well worth the trip, but it's like a 3.5 hour drive from Tampa. And it's basically an overnight trip. But
you
that
can combine it.
Huge.
But you can combine it with that. There's that the bird area near that's not too far. I forgot what the name of it. It's some Indian name.
And if somebody else, if you're also another place to go, if you're interested in butterflies, in October is the best time to go. Is that the butterfly rainforest at the University of Florida in Gainesville. Yeah. Just make sure when you go there that it's not when a football game is going to be played at home.
God, no.
Yeah, and on a note there, they have their semi-annual plant sale next week, the 23rd, 24th, and 25th.
Okay.
At Florida?
Yeah.
Yes, and they have a tremendous, actually, I'll send an email to you, Lynn, because I don't know how to send it out to everybody.
Okay, yeah. They used to have a butterfly festival every year, like the first week of October, but they haven't done it for a while. I guess enough people weren't coming. But yeah, it was cool because they would let you in. You had to sign up and pay, I think, $20 or something to get in early and take your tripod in there, because it's a big place, but it's small when you talk about where you're walking, because you've got to walk on walkways and there's like boardwalks and stuff like that. So it's really not someplace you can take a tripod unless it's set up specifically for that. But yeah, I haven't seen that they've done that in a while. So I was going to call them and see if we could make a deal with them, maybe come in early on a Saturday or something. But we'll see. Yeah, the reason why October is a good time is because it's cooler in the morning and the butterflies are not flying around a lot. So you can get pictures of them because they're just sitting. They'll sit on the plants. They'll sit on the sidewalks. There are heated, so they'll sit on the sidewalks. And so, people think, oh, I want the butterflies flying around. No, you don't, because they're very hard to catch when they're flying around. Right, Leon?
Oh, yeah.
It's much easier to catch them when they're cold.
Is it an outdoor place, Lynn, or indoor?
No,
it's like
indoor.
It's like a giant aviary. It is open to the outside, but somewhat limited.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like a giant aviary. They actually even have birds in there as well. Tiny.
No,
like-
it's completely enclosed, Lynn.
Well, there is some outside air coming in from there on the
Well,
higher
because-
levels.
Because remember, they don't want any of those butterflies getting loose in the environment. So
Yeah, but no, but yeah, it's very wide, small wire. It's very
Oh,
tiny
oh.
wire. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's open to the outside, but they have, like I said, they have, because it gets cold in there in the winter, they have heaters and the sidewalks are all heated. And the water is warmer too. So on one year I was there and they were all upset because they have like a little class before they let you in there. And they were upset because it was so cold outside that the butterflies had all gathered on these vines that hang over the water. And they got so cold, they fell in the water and drowned, and they were not happy about it. So,
Oh, wow.
but that
Wow,
didn't
wow.
happen that often, I don't think. So yeah, they would get all these giant clumps all over the water where it was warmer, and they got too cold and they died, and they let go and they fell in the water, and it killed them. So anyway, let's get back to the commentaries here. I'm to share again. Okay. And this is Jax.
Yeah, that's nice, Jack. I like the what you've done with the leading line of the road, the placement of that going up through from the foreground and leading into there, and the sun rays up in the top over the position where the road leads you to.
Yeah.
I had to take my life into my own hands and park between the two roads with my tripod as the cars went by.
Hey, that's what you have to do for your art,
That's absolutely right.
The only thing I would, yeah,
Sorry. Was there a comment?
yeah, I think the only thing I would have done with this is I would have taken a brush, and this particular rock is kind of in your face, and just done a little
Yeah.
something like this.
Give it more contour.
Give it
Yeah.
a
Give
little
it
bit
some
more
shading.
contours and some shape,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it is a little flat. I mean, and then also you could take this over here and lighten it up a little bit, because it is a little dark, going dark into that. But other than that, I love it too.
Those are good constructive comments. I agree.
Don't forget about using your masking brush to add some contours, and in a light, like, even if let's go over here and go and do this, and we can lighten it up. I mean, I'm just doing it really quick here, so it gives, and actually you can actually use this to lighten up some spots that are bright as well. So even you want to brighten up some spots and lighten up others. So just take the areas and you give it, I mean, it's not a very good job that way. I've just done it, but it
No,
gives
that's
you an
very-
idea. Yeah. So
Very,
it's probably
very
a little
nice. And you,
too-
very nice. You made a
much.
good point.
Yeah, but if you go from here to here, it's not a whole lot of difference, but if you do enough of it, it does make a big, makes a difference in what you're seeing. So
Very
gives
good.
your stuff a little more depth.
Thank you, Lynn.
You're welcome. Next one is enjoying majestic views, and this one's Chuck's. I don't know, is Chuck here tonight? Yeah, he is. I saw him.
Here.
Yep. Jim?
Yeah, good compositional placement of the person in this one as well. Off to the side, not bullseye. Your eye travels in this one left or right across that expansive view, before stopping at the person that then is viewing that view, which compositionally works really well to be able to scan across that vista, and then after you've scanned most of the way across, you come to that, and that completes it.
Yeah.
This is the fourth version of this picture. The first three I did were all in ProPhoto sRGB. When I converted it to JPEGs, they turned green. So at the last minute, I redid the whole thing, and that's the way
Yeah.
it turned out.
Yeah,
It wasn't as impactful.
yeah, I use ProPhoto with it when it's a TIFF, but Chuck, but when I convert it to a JPEG, I put everything as sRGB, because everything that's a JPEG is going to go online anyway. So Yeah, this one, I just think it's kind of, at least on my monitor, it's kind of flat. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to figure out what, yeah, just a little dehaze, because there is obviously a lot of haze in the sky right here. So I'm just thinking, because it's hard to see what's going on back here, just a little bit of dehaze makes a big difference.
Yeah, you could brush it in under the clouds where the
Right.
distant rain is, but
Yeah,
not
because
so
this
much
is
on
sort
the
of like
clouds.
almost brown. It's probably a
those-
dust storm or something, but see
There
the
was a-
difference? Just a little bit of dehaze and a little bit of contrast makes a big difference on this picture.
How would I isolate the light rays that are coming down? I had it in the first three, but when I got fed up and did the fourth, this version, I didn't have time to play with the light rays anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you can basically use the masking brush and, you know, kind of carefully brush them in there. That's the only thing. I don't know, Jim, do you have an idea?
Yeah, if you're gonna work in Lightroom, that's, you know,
Yeah.
that's what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you could go in Photoshop and make all kinds of layers and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
yeah, you could do it quickly over here. Just take, whoops. Take a
Can you
brush,
show a quickie on that, Lynn?
just a little like that. And I would probably use
Open the
clarity here.
shadows.
Yeah, whites maybe. Oh, there you go,
Yeah.
white.
Yeah, the
You
whites,
did have to be careful.
not the exposure slider. You'd want to hit it
Yeah,
with the white,
just
not the
whites.
exposure.
And a little bit of clarity and dehaze will help that. You got to be careful because you don't want it, you know, splittling all over the place. I kind of, again, did a rough job here, but yeah, I mean, you can, if you take your time, and if I could use my Wacom tablet in Lightroom as well, and I can use the pen to do that kind of stuff as well if I want to. So that's where that Wacom tablet really comes in handy.
Do any of you use TK8?
This is, no, I don't use any TK. I do everything in Lightroom and in Photoshop, and then occasionally throw in a plugin like Nick.
What was his question?
I TK the luminosity stuff, and I've got all of those
Oh.
things. And I never use them.
Um,
Anyway, all right, let's go on to the next one. Next one is Beach Island Sunrise, and this one is berries. And this one looks like it was done with the phone, right? Nope. This is done with.
Yeah, and that effect happens when you do an extremely long panorama of something that is horizontal left or right and straight in front of you, but to compress it into the panoramic format, it actually has to put that extreme curvature into it in the center there, which gives it a very unique look. By it's almost it's an altered reality type of effect that just happens from the way the panorama goes together, because it definitely does not look like that in person. That's an artifact of the process, but it can be in the right circumstances. It's very interesting to see that and look at that.
And that's like taking it all the way from more than 180 degrees basically.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start, depending on where you start. So if you don't want all that curve, then you make your panorama shorter. And the phones are really good at making those curves.
Did you say this was a phone shot, Lynn?
I don't know, Barry, what did you shoot this with? It doesn't say on here. LG, is it the LG phone?
Yeah, it's phone.
Yeah, so it was shot with his phone.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty typical of a phone panel. Or even if you use DSLRs, mirrorless cameras in the panoramic mode, they do the same thing as the phone, where they internally stitch together a JPEG as you pan the camera.
Right.
And it's the same thing.
This one is 40 seconds. This one is Doris's.
Mm-hmm.
I would do Robert's favorite thing is get into this calibration, give it a little color, and then it's a little on the overexposed side.
How do we know it's 42nd Street?
Because I'm using some dehaze, and it just makes the city pop.
It's 42nd Street because of the UN building on the far left.
Okay.
Go ahead and go ahead and use the transform panel as well, and to show how the buildings can be straightened up, because you see how they're angled on left and right side of the image.
Do we use the auto?
Yeah, give it a shot.
There we go.
Auto, vertical.
Does a pretty good job. I mean, it's still,
It missed on the left side. You can use the guided uprights because that one has more on one side than the other, and the guided uprights will just knock that right out in in 2 strokes of the lines.
oops, I didn't do
Oops, that one
right.
missed. There you go.
That worked really well.
I like that.
Can you do
You
that
have to
slowly?
use off. Stop it.
Yeah.
Reset. Okay. So now let's do it.
Yeah.
You take these little lines, and it's hard to do it. You got to line the
Drag
line up
it.
with the edge of the
If
building.
you drag it top to bottom, Lynn, if you
Okay.
drag the point, there you go. That
Okay.
makes it much easier if you
This
drag
is
the
how
points,
often I use this. Not very
and then
often.
you can swing the bottom point once you drag it. So
Oh, I
drag
see.
down,
Oh,
and now
okay.
you can swing the bottom point left and
There you
right
go.
and get it
That's
exactly
straighter.
where you
Well,
want it.
that one makes everything else crooked, though.
No, well, you pushed the point the wrong way, but
Okay.
in any case, that tool is the right tool to use if you use it correctly.
Correctly. Unlike I am terrible with this thing.
You use that tool to mangle it.
Yeah, and there's you can use the go over to Photoshop and use their straightening ability as well with the warp tool. I
Mhm.
think it is. Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, this is really cool, Doris. Love it.
Thank you. Should I
Mhm.
have removed the tree limb on the left?
I have no problem with that.
I
That
like it.
that gives me a point of reference about where you're at without being visually distracting. If it were much more than that, yeah, but that's just enough to to actually kind of set the stage and give the viewer a point of reference about where you are when you're taking the picture. And I don't have any problem with that in this image.
Okay.
Add some vibrance, Lynn.
Yeah, it kind of makes the sky a little bit too blue,
Yeah.
but
Well, yeah, not that
still,
much.
yeah. I
Yeah, you
mean,
can go to HSL and then knock the blue back
Yeah.
down a little bit.
yeah, you can just go down to HSL and go down here,
Middle grouping. Middle
Yeah.
group. There you go.
right there.
Boom.
The
There
sky
it is.
isn't quite so blue, so
Yeah.
kind of aqua.
Nice.
But yeah, that, I mean, we're again, let me go from beginning to end. We started here. Oops, too far. Started here and we're here. We didn't straighten it, but yeah. So I mean, just the sky is you got this beautiful sky, let it see it, and the buildings just are so many different colors. It's really cool too. So good one. This one is Subia's.
Where's the village?
That's one hell of a village.
Mhm.
I guess the
Robert
title.
found his
I'm
voice for a
struggling.
minute.
It's a town.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a nice perspective with the way you brought the river in from the left and then curve it back around at the far right and bring it back into the image before it extends to the horizon. You were in a good location to set up a nice composition there with what you did with the line of the river.
Yeah, I think there was about 12 or 14 images stitched together. And I was up on a like a cliff or a rise.
Yeah.
So I would have liked to not have so many of those trees in the foreground, but
Yeah.
I was on a platform. I really couldn't.
I recognized immediately, where that was without even needing a description, because I have a student that just came back from a month-long river tour over there and is having me work with her and put a book together. And she took 7,000 photos of the Moselle and the Rhine. Yeah. I see images of the Moselle and Rhine in my sleep now.
It's a good thing you're not working with me on my Africa trip because I just went through 7,000 shots.
Sylvia,
Yes, Robert.
I need to stop hitting the shutter button.
tell me about those 2 lines.
What lines?
Lines.
The one on the right-hand side lower.
This?
Yes.
The tree?
And
get rid
then
of the
the
tree?
other one right there.
That's
Tower.
the tower. That's a tower.
There's a tower and a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, should have got there, at least got rid of this one. This one, you know what it is, but this one just kind of bugs you.
Distracting. Okay.
But yeah, as many images as you took, and with all the, this is like a really, at least this part of the really complicated jigsaw puzzle, and it did a pretty good job of putting it together.
Yeah, I did actually. And
Yeah,
I did it actually in Lightroom. I didn't do
Yeah.
it in Photoshop.
Lightroom does a pretty good job now.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And this one is Karen's.
Okay. It's a little bit underexposed. Compositionally, the issue I have with this one is the very foreground elements, the posts at the end of the line of the grapes at the vineyard there are cut off at the bottom, and that's kind of visually distracting. How the right where you lead into the image, right dead center in the foreground, they're chopped off there. It's like you just wanted to be one more step back with the camera for that, and and open up the exposure a little bit and shift the temperature a little bit to the yellow side too. It's a very, very cool image as far as, blue temperature wise. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so I opened up the shadows a little bit, Karen, and then just added a
Yeah.
little yellow. The sky is a little blown out, so I don't know, the sky really is going to be hard to fix. This
Yeah.
area right here, there's no data.
Yeah, there's other than do a sky replacement,
Yeah.
you're kind of stuck with that.
Because you see right here on your histogram, if it was like blown out, I mean, if there was any data there, this would be all the way over to the side, but there's nothing there. So that means all of this white has no data in it at all. So you have to be careful about that. Yeah. So yeah, this would be a cool picture if you could replace the sky with it.
Yeah, you could easily do a sky replacement on that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you can do that, obviously in Photoshop now. And if you've got
Yep.
Luminar, any of the Luminar programs, they'll replace the sky as well. This one is Brian's. Brian.
I know where that's at, Brian.
It just needs a little punch.
Hmm.
It's a little dull, like flat. Especially when you've got all this blue, your colors need to just kind of go pop. I'm not big on using the saturation, so I use the vibrance.
Hmm.
See the difference between the two here. We started off with this, and just add a little bit, and you don't have to do much. I think the shadow needs to come up a little bit too, because you're losing a lot of stuff right in here.
Another thing you can do with when you have a scene with fall colors like this and you've got green trees in it, if you go down to that calibration lin and go to the one that has the for the shadows. Look higher up in that panel. If it's there, shadows, and push the tint to the green exactly. And then then you'll develop contrast between the green trees and the rest of the foliage, pushing that shadow slider on the green side.
So you see, this is the calibration panel.
So Jim, remind me where this is. I remember walking around this lake. I can't remember where it was.
It's just north of Helen, Georgia. I think it's called Smith Lake.
No.
Then it looks just like that.
I have to go look it up now because
The
I can't.
autumn lakes all kind of look the same.
Yeah.
Jim, with that calibration, would you increase the hue on the red a little bit to just bring out the reds?
You could, if you really want those reds to pop out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, we started here, and we're now here, so it
Yeah.
makes a big difference.
I just was concerned about overdoing the blues and making it unnatural looking.
No, but
Mhm.
that's what that's what that looks like. I guarantee it.
Whenever you see a reflection in water like that, and the sky especially, everything reflected in the water naturally, until you do any processing of it, it's naturally going to be between 1 and 2 stops darker than what's above the water.
Right.
Reflections in smooth water like that are always going to be between 1 and 2 stops darker than the rest of the scene, and will be more saturated.
Right. This one, I love the title, Jan.
Yeah. I love the title of the show.
Nobody's going anywhere. This is Old Car City, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. You guys don't know about this. It's up west of Atlanta, northwest of Atlanta. It's a big, huge junkyard, and you can pay. Well, how much did you have to pay to get in there?
It was $30. It was $30, Lynn.
Did you have to make a reservation, or did you
Nope.
just go? They're just
No,
there. Yeah.
I just walked in.
Yeah. Yeah, this and how I think it's like a lot of acres. This is just one very small portion of it.
Yeah, there was a couple of different lots, and this was the closest one to where you came in. And I spent about a couple hours here, and then I had to kind of continue on north. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you shot this, you thought about shooting, when you went there and you go, wait, this is a good, I would never, I mean, I just don't think panoramic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this worked
this
real
is
well for the
perfect. Yeah.
panorama.
Yeah.
Totally.
Especially, and I keep talking about the composition, but especially with the panorama, composition, really becomes important in this format. And the V shape that you have going on with the 2 roads going off in that V shape, either side with the apex, and with that primary focal point, that yellow car at the apex of that V shape going on within this panorama was very well done for compositionally.
Thanks. It was about 12 images that I took. The biggest problem I had was more in post-processing, because when I took it into Lightroom, everything was green. It just seemed like there was this green color cast over everything.
Well, that's because it's in a green place.
Exactly.
That's where the little eyedropper comes in handy, and you go, oh, there's a white car. No, it's not green.
Yeah. So are you saying that the color balance was off? Because what happened was when I had started adjusting the color balance, then I wanted to keep the green saturation in the trees, but not necessarily in the lower half.
Right.
And it just got really.
Just go in and use here's why. Yeah, it's difficult when there's green everywhere, but you saw I used the eyedropper, and I found either you find a gray spot or a something that's supposed to be white, which looks like this car is white, and so that kind of, but it is sort of flat.
Yeah,
so you need to go in and kind of pump it up a little bit. You can go in and use your HSL area and use those.
Yeah. Another thing you can do, it's a great candidate for what they call dual processing. You just go in Lightroom, you make a virtual copy, you leave one with the trees the way you want, you white balance the other for the cars to look like this. Then you send them both as layers to Photoshop, stack one on the other, and you just mask the trees that you like through and through the image with the cars, and then flatten it and send it back.
Oh, that sounds so cool. Thanks.
We need a lesson on that.
I never knew that.
It's very simple. That this is something that would take like 2 minutes to do it. You leave one with the trees the way you want. You make a virtual copy with the cars the way you want. You can right click and you have an option that says open as layers in Photoshop.
Right.
And then they pop in as layers. You just throw a mask on and just brush through the trees.
This is where you make the virtual copy right here.
Okay. That would be well worth. Yeah. I think I'll probably try to redo this then. Thanks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This one is Alan's.
Yes, I'm here.
What I found with this one is, I look across and the left side of the image is pretty open and empty and a lot of negative space. And then it gets busy and interesting in the final 30% of the right side. And then you run into that tree and then you get out. I wonder, did you do any more where you got in closer from where you're at or from a different perspective? I see what's going on the left side, but the left side and the right side of this image really are not balanced with each other.
Yeah, I think the problem was that I took this one handheld.
Mhm.
And when I got to the right side, it was about as far as I could twist. So, and that's what happened. When I looked at this image, I thought, I needed a little more on the right side,
Yeah.
but when I took it, I just couldn't twist
Yeah,
it.
I mean, because it would have been like if you had taken this and
Mhm.
chopped it off.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, there's no rule that says you can't take two panos and then stick the two panos together and then even, and chop the ends off of two panos and take what's in the middle or do whatever you want with, put a
Right.
pano to a pano and make a
Just-
super pano.
Yeah, just make sure that that your second pano overlaps where your first pano left off so that you can stitch them all together. So,
I never thought of that. It's a good
Yeah.
idea.
yeah, you can do
Yeah,
all
thank
that.
you.
Anyway, all right.
I used to know a photographer that did that made super 360 panos like that. They would make 6 panos that would encompass 360 degrees,
Wow.
and then they would print them on a very long continuous sheet of paper, on a roll through a printer. And then what they did, they wrapped the paper 360 degrees around, except for a little opening where you could look through and then see almost 360 degrees inside the curved print.
Well, that reminds me of something at Disney World, standing in the middle of something and it was surrounding you.
The Monsanto Theater.
Yeah, Monsanto Theater, exactly. This one is Alan's as well.
Mm-hmm. I know it's tempting to make the clouds look really dramatic, but in this case, the drama of the clouds actually kind of draws you away from the Mount Rushmore itself.
Yeah. And this is another place where you could use that brush technique to put some layers in here
Okay.
because it's all kind of flat along here.
Mhm.
So you could darken some of these areas and just anywhere where it's dark, just make it a little darker, and it'll give you a little more depth in your trees.
There's another image coming up about 3 more down the line that is a good contrast to this with how with the difference in how the clouds are presented in the image. If you want to, if your image is about, you want to draw attention to the sky, it's about, stormy weather, gloomy circumstances, things like that, then, it's okay to, go for that super drama in the sky. Just be cautious in a case like this about, making the clouds overshadow your actual, intended subject.
I mean, either that or make them closer. I suppose.
Then it's not a piano.
That is not a piano, but yeah, for something like that, yeah, they're so far away that you lose track of what's important, which is the faces. So.
Aren't there halos around that mountain?
I'm sorry?
Aren't there halos around that mountain, or am I seeing things?
There's a little bit here.
Chuck, those are the gods of our country.
Yep.
No, not those.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a halo.
Going down that side.
Yeah.
We can one.
Yep. There is.
Yeah, there's
You're right.
Yeah, it's a little over processed.
That's a sharpening halo there, and there's definitely a sharpening halo there.
Yeah, you can see kind of a little crunchiness in here too.
Mm-hmm.
And that was caused by sharpening.
Yeah, over sharpening.
That very tight, well-defined, white hairline there, that's a sharpening halo.
Right here.
There's also some wider halos further down there on that left side. If you just continue down the side of the mountain, then there's some wider halos there.
Right here.
That's related to what was being done with processing those clouds to bring the drama out in the clouds, those wider
You see how
halos.
it's lighter behind here?
And also right up against the rocks,
Yeah.
where the trees meet the rocks, there's some
Yeah.
wider halos there. That has to do, especially right down, at the very bottom, there's some there that has to do with the processing that was done on the clouds versus it's a different kind of halo than the sharpening halo.
It's like
that's visible
when
further
you
up on the
when you
rocks.
selected the sky, you didn't get everything.
Well, it's not it's not
Yeah.
even that. It's
Really?
what happened after the sky is selected, and it's what happens to it,
Okay.
in the process.
Jim and Alan.
Yes.
Alan, Jim, Sykes, you need to take off your glasses. Alan, you need to put on glasses. And both of you will then be seeing the same thing.
Okay. Thank you.
I really like the infrared presentation of this, Lynn. The only thing I'll say, and it'd be an easy job to clone in or whatever. The whole top of the castle and the bottom is bordered by white, except right there at the tower, there's a black hole in the sky that touches that tower right there. I would fill that in with white clouds, from your sky, and then that whole thing is surrounded by white. It just, my attention keeps going to that black hole that touches that tower in the sky there. That's,
I had never done a panorama with my infrared converted camera, and so when I saw this thing was way too wide to get any the whole castle in with even my widest angle lens. So I thought, what, I really should do a panorama of it.
It looks beautiful. That treatment really, the infrared treatment works really well with the old castle.
Yeah. This was in Bamberg. This is the Bamborough Castle. It was about, I could actually see this from the balcony at the place we stayed in England. Oh. Thank you. Next. This is Loch Lomond. This is Lee's. I don't think Lee's here tonight. Did Lee show up tonight?
He was there earlier.
Yeah.
But if you want to just do a quick contrast, like jump to image number 2 from this one and then back to this one, Lynn, and look at the placement of the person. No, I mean the second image in the whole, assigned category.
Oh, here.
Where it was to the right.
There. Okay. All right. Look there. Now jump back.
Yeah. She
Yeah,
blocks the whole thing.
Yeah. See that bullseye position, you kind of stop there as you go across this panorama versus, where the placement of the person was in the other one.
Would it have been better if you just took the person out?
No, I don't mind the person being there at all for scale and for a sense of what's going on. It's just that bullseye placement versus, you saw what was done with that other image. More to one side or the other, visually lets you draw across the panorama without stopping dead center, for a person to see, oh, what are they doing, and then continuing on through the panorama.
Would you be able to do content aware move? In
Absolutely.
Photoshop? Yeah.
You sure could.
Oh yeah, guys, there's a thing called content aware move in Photoshop.
Can you do that, Lynn, since we have time?
This image is so big, it wouldn't.
We won't have time.
Yeah, we don't have the time. It would take too long to process it.
Hey, Robert, can we do that next time?
I mean, we could sort of do it here. There is a way to do that. I can't remember how to do it with Lightroom, but it's pretty, hitting him over the head with a club.
Yeah, you click somewhere else. Yeah, you click there and you move it and then move the other side. Yeah.
Then how do you get rid of the?
Then you go in and get rid of the person.
Yep.
So you say that you enter that one and then you do it again.
This is that's the quick and dirty, low resolution hack.
Voila.
And you could still grab that person and move them further over if you can move them further to the right. Yeah. See, there you go. Yeah, really much better.
We fixed it.
And she didn't even feel a thing.
Yeah, and she didn't feel a thing. And so, so if it's not possible in every image to do that. This one's actually pretty easy because of what she's sitting on and what's around her. But yeah, so if you get a really cool picture and the person just in the wrong spot, move them.
And then do you have to send it as an altered reality?
No, because we don't know that.
No, because that's the altered reality gets into something. It's not about the change something. It's when you want to change the whole image away from not even necessarily being photographic in nature.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we can't tell that you've done that.
Yeah, but
It's not
if you do a lot of treatment to it that makes it that turns it more into like graphic art type stuff and or illustrative art and takes it sort of out of the realm of being a photo or very obvious manipulations that what you want us to see is the manipulations, then yes, that's altered reality.
Back to where she was.
This is the one I was talking about, where I was saying about look at the difference in the treatment, on the clouds. There, it's still a dramatic sky, but my attention isn't going to those clouds. I get the whole mood of what's going on, but I do get to stay down there and look and see, what's going on without those clouds being, over processed to draw me away from the rest of the scene.
I just thought it was a little dark.
It is.
So, I mean, if you look up here, guys, see this arrow up at the top in the histogram and the arrow up here, that means that you're you've gone too far with your blacks and you've gone too far with your whites. The whites, again, you're probably not going to be able to fix because it looks to me like this is, there's no data right here.
That's just gone.
Yeah. So yeah, there's no, I mean, you could get a little bit back. Yeah, there's some there. But then the darks, you pull up your shadow, you can either use your shadows or you can use your blacks and, move your blacks over a little bit. And that way, what's here. With it real heavy in the darks and everything like that, and all those gray tones in the middle, it looks like the old Universal Studios horror movies, hand painted backdrops in black and white for the Bela Lugosi and the Dracula movies. Put the little castle on the hill there, and then put some actors in front of it.
Why not just increase the exposure?
No, it'd be decrease
blow it out.
No, because it'll blow everything else out.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing in bits and pieces here. I mean, so I was able to get, the sky, there's still a little, see if you can see up here at the histogram, there's nothing right here at the very end, but yet you've got this white. So that's where the no data is. And you could actually have the same thing happen with the blacks, but it looks like pretty much the blacks are okay if you just pull them back a little bit, see?
Yeah.
And you could go in with your brush and add some highlights and some darks in lines in here to give some depth. But see all these nice layers you've got once you lighten it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What's that thing in the middle?
It's a dock.
It's a dock.
Oh.
It's a dock with a
Click on it, Lynn. See if it'll zoom in. Just click on it.
Yeah.
See?
I couldn't see
dark.
that. Okay.
Would you have darkened that any or blurred
Yeah.
up a little bit?
Yeah, you
Just
could burn
to
that
me-
in.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you
that-
could.
My
Absolutely, you
vision-
could burn that in.
Yeah, my vision stops at those two blocks. I really had to figure out what was leading up to it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have the option on your end looking at this to click it and enlarge it
No.
as we do when we get
No,
to see them and judge
yeah.
them, and
So I didn't know whether it was water rippling or what.
No, it's just, And this over here is, I don't know what's going on over here. That looks kind of weird. Maybe there's grass there or something. I don't know, because it's like some strange thing going on over here. I don't know if he fixed something over here or what, but just looks weird.
Mhm. or a stitching artifact.
Yeah. I don't know. This is a really cool picture. I love the Tetons, but there was obviously haze.
Hazy.
There's always haze at the Tetons.
Hmm.
And I don't know if the dehazing doesn't seem to do that much good. I don't know.
Hmm.
It affected the sky a lot. Can you
Yeah,
not just
well-
dehaze the mountains?
Well, yeah,
With
part of what
the
the issue is with trying to do that is part of what you're seeing is that the haze in the sky happens to reproduce the color of the mountains. And so it's almost like there's a, visually, not technically speaking, but visually and perceptually, there's a color bleed of the same color crosses from the mountains into the sky, which really, flattens that, that perspective and gives it that flat, low contrasty look, is the fact that the same color, extends across the mountains and into the sky.
And that,
Could you not brush the dehaze on the mountains, Lynn?
You could probably, you could do
that.
Yeah.
And you can also use the sky selection mask to select the sky and work on
Make
it
it darker or
independently from the
something.
mountains.
Yeah.
And you can select the sky and invert it. And then, and then when you invert it, then you could just do dehaze once you invert the sky mask.
Yeah. I mean, the issue is the color of the sky is kind of weird, and it's probably smoke. I experienced that when I was there few years back.
No, it wasn't smoke this year. It was smoke last year.
Yeah.
But
it's just got that funky color to it,
Yeah. Well, the sky is always changing there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's tough.
What time of day was it?
I'm trying to remember because I took them at various times, and I think this was more midday, or
that looks like
what it
midday.
looks like.
Yeah. Because I have morning shots, I have evening shots, but
it's a beautiful shot.
Yeah. I mean, and I found this accidentally, because when we were there were fires everywhere. So there was smoke everywhere.
Yeah.
And the best shots that I got were nice and clear, were anything they shot in infrared. The infrared just took away all the haze. It was awesome. I mean, obviously I had no color, but you could, you didn't get this kind of yucky color looking thing that's going on. Yeah.
We were there a week last year, and it rained the first day we were there, and we had beautiful skies, and it rained, and it was smoky the rest of the week. And then the last day it rained and we had beautiful skies. So this year it was beautiful the whole time.
That's a great shot.
Jim?
Yeah, the panorama format, works well for this, especially with the moving left to right like that. And the what?
I don't understand this photo as a panorama, because if you've got moving objects and you're taking
right,
shots,
that's what I said at the outset. I don't think everybody followed the assignment and stitched things together, and some people just did crops.
No, this is stitched.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's great. That's great that it's that
you
got
these guys and then these guys, because you can see the stitching right there.
If your stitch lines are in between, then it's great.
I didn't take it knowing what stitching actually was. I was taking these antelopes were sitting there, and they kept walking closer and closer to me. So I have a lot of pictures of them standing or doing something. And then the motorcycles came by and they started running. Well, I was standing there. I just kept taking shots. And then when I got home and found out what stitching was, I tried putting it together, and this is what it did.
That's great. So it wasn't even shot in as a stitch to begin with intentionally, but you did a great job of what you did with, like I say, that first group in the front, that grabs your attention, and then that you follow the action, across from left to right like that. That's what I was talking about when I started talking about the image earlier. That flow, that flow and with those groups and everything is well done. How that was set up.
And that's the same for pronghorns, right?
Yes, they're all the same group.
It's the same four. All of these are the same four.
Right.
There's not 16 of them. There's only 4 of them.
Right. And they were running.
Yeah.
I was wondering about that.
Yep.
Well,
Great
then
job.
my question is not going to be very good, because the whole time I was in Texas and Colorado, I have never gotten them to face the camera. That every picture of them is they always run. I can shoot from the car. You roll down the window, they take off.
Yeah.
You get out the car, they take off. So I was impressed that those were looking in the first place.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
they
it's
were
just-
all walking towards me, so and I don't have a real long lens.
Wow, because
Yeah, so-
they're skittish.
Mm.
They're real skittish.
Leslie, I had the same thing when I was in Africa this time with the stupid Impala. The
Yeah.
truck would pull up and the Impala would stop, right? And
Yeah.
that'd be awesome until you took your camera out and then they would scatter. And
Yeah,
I'm like, you've got to be kidding. I mean, and so we tried last time to have our camera on our laps and
Yeah.
just moving it from the lap to the eye, boom, they were gone. I'm like,
know.
you stopped. You wanted your picture taken.
Yeah.
Nope.
hey, on Kathy, on this one, the only thing I see is right here.
Yeah,
There's a little bit of it just missed it somehow.
right.
You might want to try, did you do this in Photoshop or Lightroom?
Capture One.
Or Capture One? Okay. Yeah, that for some reason, there must have been some little thing
Yeah.
there that it
Little-
didn't.
Yeah, a little content aware, Fill. If you just draw a
Content-aware would
marquee
do
selection
that.
around that, hit content aware fill, that'll blend it in nicely.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it's just, it,
I just didn't
when you
notice.
look across it, everything is great except this kind of sort of stops you. because
Yeah.
It does look a little funky.
Okay, now that
Goes
you
all the
pointed
way
it out,
down right
yeah.
through here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything else though, it's stitched really well. That was just one spot. But yeah,
Okay.
it's really cool. And nobody would ever know that that was the same for antelope going across there. It looks like you found a whole herd of them.
Yeah, I had wanted to sort of piece it together and I didn't know stitching, so it worked out great.
Yeah.
I've never seen more than 6 of them together at a time.
I saw one large herd in Montana, but it was so far away that even my long lens couldn't get that far, but I could tell they were pronghorns.
You gave Kathy a whole bunch of time there.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And great photo, Kathy. Don't do that again.
Thank you.
This one is Lourdes's.
It's what?
This is Lourdes's picture.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It wasn't taken the night of our outing.
Nope.
Nope, that's a morning shot,
That's a
but
morning
it's
shot.
nice payoff at the end of the panorama as you travel across there and get to that sun at the end. Yeah, that's another good composition with with the payoff at the end. And yep, a lot of great fine detail in there.
Yeah, look at the guy though. He's in here twice.
Mhm.
He was walking fast.
Yeah.
God, you pick up the weirdest stuff. Glenn.
That is his twin.
That's
That's
twin,
not him.
and they have the exact same
Yes.
dog.
Because the dogs are born in groups.
Go a little further to the left. I think he's there a third time.
No, that's a different
That's another guy. That's another guy. Okay.
He has 2 dogs. No, this guy is the same guy. Yeah, it's the same guy. Let's see if he's over here too.
Yep.
Nope.
He moved. He moved right into both frames.
Yeah.
That's funny.
He was walking fast.
See, we can't zoom, so we can't pick up on that.
So now we know she was panning right to left as she was taking the shots.
Yeah. He's going this way.
Yep.
Because he was walking that way. Unless he was walking backwards. Yeah, this is, I don't know how many images this is. Is Lourdes here?
No,
Lee here? No?
they're together somewhere.
Yeah, so yeah, this is a lot of images, but it came together weller than the repetitive guy. Nobody else would notice that but me, I'm notice these stupid things. This is Lourdes's image as well.
Mhm.
Looks, I don't know if it's straight.
Crooked.
Yeah, it's crooked.
Mhm. It's got a heavy blue tint to it.
Yeah, it's crooked and it's very blue. So we will just do a quickie. Find something white. Voila.
Wow, that's awesome.
Looks real now.
Yep.
Thanks, Lynn.
And just a little bright, so we could pull the highlights down, and the buildings are pretty straight. They're not totally straight, but
Yeah, it's a matter of getting the horizon line precise. When you were drawing your line with that. Yeah. Wow, what a difference.
yeah, yeah, that was a big difference. And this one is Jim's. Yes, Jim
I
McWilliams.
actually like this one a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great choice for
Yeah.
subject matter. It's very dark. It's underexposed. We need to bring up the exposure.
It was a little crooked.
Some of this. The shadows are blocked up and it's dark, but it's an excellent choice for a panorama and well done that way.
Where is
Yeah, this one can take an exposure boost, Lynn.
Yeah.
Jim,
Yeah.
where
Oh, yeah.
is this in
You're
in
getting
the
there.
universe?
There you go.
Yeah. This is downtown Tampa over by,
Hmm.
A UT, but where do
Yeah.
you get it off of Kennedy?
Yeah, this is not by UT. This is kind of right in the middle of downtown.
yeah, this is the middle of downtown. This is one of the newer parks.
It's close to where the courthouse is at.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the
Chalura.
courthouse and the county building.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I
it
think
says
I was standing on the
Joe
corner of
Chalura
Kennedy and
Courthouse Square. So yeah,
Oh,
it's by the
okay.
courthouse. Yeah, it was just a little crooked. Jim, just
Yep.
so you just
Uh,
made a big difference just doing that
Yeah, and brightening it up.
and brighten it up a little bit. So yeah, just a little bit more.
Hmm.
But yeah, as soon as that popped up, I thought, oh, that's a nice angle there.
Yeah. Yep. Well done.
This one is Fong.
Yes.
Again, shadows are too dark.
Yep. Open that. Yep. I was gonna say, open that up, Lynn, and shift the color temperature a little yellow when you get around to that. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Again, you've got, it's hard when the sun is in your picture because the sun is going to make you have no, I mean, this one is still a little against the edge. We can get rid of some of that, but then it makes the clouds kind of dark. So yeah,
Mhm.
the sun is going to give you no data because it's so bright that it just blows everything out. But
Okay.
yeah. And it is a little crooked, but because of the way it's, I don't know if I could straighten it. You'd have to take this in and to Photoshop and use the warp tool to get it, warp free. Was it transform and warp to get it straightened out? Because you can see right down here, there's this horizon is right along here, and then the horizon is over here, and then these kind of go slope down again. So
Yeah,
Is that because of stitching?
it has to do with the way it stitches it together. If you don't put a horizon dead center through a stitched panorama, then all kinds of curvature effects
Right.
start to come in in the way it has to manipulate the images to stitch them.
right. Yeah,
Also,
it's tough.
remind-
Panoramas
I
are
wanna-
not the easiest thing to do.
I want to remind people that you can also do a 3-frame or 5-frame bracket between each frame
Yep.
and straighten the horizon between each frame.
Then put them together. Yeah.
Huh?
Say that again?
No. Yeah. Do instead of taking 9 images and stitching them all together, do 3, then 3, then 3, and then take those the resulting 3 and put them together. Right? Is that
Okay.
what you're trying to say?
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't
I'm saying-
understand. I'm sorry. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah. Okay, you know how you do an HDR bracket,
Right.
yeah.
all right?
Hmm.
So each of those frames can be processed in Lightroom with an HDR bracket and stitching together.
Mhm.
So you don't have to blow out your whites or block up your shadows.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can also, between each frame, set your horizon, readjust your horizon. You don't have to just wheel the camera around. You can just shoot the frame, look at your horizon, make sure that your horizon is straight, shoot the next frame, then make sure your horizon is straight, then again, and then shoot the next frame.
Yeah.
Well, one
Oh.
lesson I learned is I took my lightweight tripod, and that was a big mistake. Because when the wind blew, that was the end of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and tripods
Oh.
make it actually harder unless you've got a panning head on it.
Mhm.
So I want
So
to,
a ball head is not going to do it straight.
So if I used a Wimberley, that would have been better off.
No, you need an actually panning head.
There is a thing called a pan and tilt head, which is different than a ball head.
Yeah. But basically what it does is it keeps the lens on the proper axis going all the way around.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I
Now
mean,
you
that's
It's
what
a-
you had to do before these programs got so good at stitching, because there
Yeah.
was no way it would do it unless you did that. Now they've gotten much better at stitching,
Yeah.
so it's not as necessary.
And is there a particular brand or does it matter?
No, it's a
No.
completely, no, it's just a mechanically a completely different kind of head that you buy for
Yeah.
your tripod. You know, you
Right,
can buy a
yeah.
tripod without a head, and then you have a
Right.
choice when you buy a head of getting a pan and tilt head or a ball head, or buy both and swap them out depending
Right.
on what you're doing. I
Diana,
own I own
sorry.
like 5 of each.
Right.
Diana,
And, and he never uses them.
the panning head has an extra knob on it, by Diana.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Instead of one knob, it's got 3.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
great.
it's
More things I
basically,
can break.
like I said, it keeps the lens on the same axis when you turn
Okay.
it.
That was my biggest problem, man, you know, and I swear the level on my camera doesn't work.
Yeah,
If I could, Lynn, if I could interject another trick that works. I have a line that goes through my grid and the screen that tells me when I'm perfectly horizontal.
Right.
And I make sure before I start the panel that it remains horizontal throughout all the range that I'm going to be shooting. And that way you avoid the problem of the horizon doing dips on you in different places.
Yeah.
That's what I had. I had a lot of that.
Does anyone not use a tilt shift adapter with an old manual lens like a Pentax or a Canon lens with an adapter?
I'm
You're
sure
not, you don't
Jim
have
has
to
one
worry
of those.
about, you don't have to worry about a pen. Oh, excuse me. You don't have to worry about this was not to make noise.
Mhm.
You don't have to worry about a pano head or anything else. You just level everything, take your shot, shift to the left, shift to the right, and you're done. You don't get that crazy dip in the image where you're losing a lot of the image when you stitch it in Lightroom. Your horizon and your foreground stay pretty much straight. And they're pretty cool. I use them on my little C-sensor Sony. I have like 3 or 4 Canon lenses with a photodiox tilt shift adapter, and I have a blast with it. I didn't enter anything this time in panos, but I've done some panos with those lenses, and the quality of them is extremely good, and you get them for like $50-$60.
Yeah. But Diana,
Diana?
you don't need to buy all this unless you're going to be do nothing but panos all the time. So.
Well, yeah, like I said, the adapters run about $149. The lenses run about $50. You're going to spend several $100s for a good pano.
I see what you're holding up, Jim.
Yeah. Do you notice it? Like I say, it's not a ball head. It's very, very different.
So
very
it's
different
like
animal.
an L bracket type thing.
Well,
oh yeah, because then you can go vertical. Yeah, you can mount your camera vertical on it.
And you have to calibrate each lens with it because each lens has a different turning point.
Oh boy.
That's why there's all these little microscopic fine numbers, on it, so that once you know your numbers for your lens, you can write them down and you can move everything to the right.
That's above
marks.
my pay grade.
Okay, guys, it's 9:00. We need to get moving here. This one is Fongs, I think. Oops. Yeah, this one's Fongs. It's sort of not really a panorama. Again, it's the sun is blown out pretty badly. Needs to be, the shadows again are pretty.
It's dark on the sides, and the camera was possibly compensating for the bright sun and therefore darkening the exposure down if it was in any kind of auto exposure mode.
I don't know if we could make it more panorama-y by doing this. Because we really don't need all that stuff down there.
Yeah,
we don't need all this.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you just do that, and that would make it more of a panorama. But the issue is this sky here is, I mean, like I said, you shoot into the sun, you're going to have that. So
that's the most prominent that your eye jumps to in the image.
Yeah, this is all we see right here is because it's so bright.
Okay, got it.
Try to avoid shooting into the sun.
When we were on that photo walk with Rick Salmon that time, and he said, always shoot for the highlights. So if you had brought that down for the sun, because it is so bright.
You can't. It's too bright.
Okay, that was going to be my question.
You can't. It's too bright because if you did that, everything else would be black. I'm like, yeah.
Well, that was going to be my
Yeah.
question. Would
Yeah,
would there
yeah.
be enough to bring everything
Yeah,
else
the
back
sun
up?
is, the sun is too bright for that.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you're gonna work on bringing it, bringing it back, in post like that, you've got to realize in Lightroom you've got 5 stops to work with, and Capture One you've got 4 stops to work with,
Yeah.
where you can work with trying to
I can
bring
go-
back from underexposure.
But I
Okay,
mean, for me,
See, I can get
HDR.
some of it back, but then it turns this yucky gray. That's because there's no data there. There's
But-
nothing there to change because see, again, you look at the histogram, you got
Hey.
white, and it should be over here and there's nothing there because.
Okay, I'm with Robert on HDR all the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
HDR makes a big difference. All right, next one. This one I love.
Yeah, I love the colors.
Yeah. This is
This-
at Tampa U, huh? I've never seen this.
Yeah. They, if you stand outside the chapel, looking at the chapel, it's to the area on the right.
Okay.
If
Is
you
it like
stand
there a
with-
fountain in there?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I'll have to go
And
find
it
that.
strikes on the hour right now, but the bells can be played via a keyboard.
Oh, really?
It's a
Yeah.
carillon.
It's
Yeah.
a Carolina.
Oh,
Well, no,
Where
they
is
have a, I was watching some videos on it.
Mhm.
That's 15 images, 3 columns of 5 each.
And
So
where are
five,
the,
five, five, five.
Yeah, 5 vertically and 3 horizontally.
wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Can you boost the exposure just a little, Lynn? Let me see that. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and then just darken the blues back down in the HSL panel.
I just
Not the
looked
saturation, the luminance. Yeah, there you go. There.
Yeah.
There you go.
I just looked that up and it says in the United States, in North America, there are only 180 carillons.
That's not a
Mhm.
carillon. They have another name for it. I can't.
Oh, it's not. Oh, okay.
No,
Oh, okay.
that's not what they call it.
Oh,
I was gonna say we're unique.
But that is the tallest
But yeah,
one.
this thing is really cool. I'd like to go take a look at this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Where at the UT is it?
Again,
the
if you're
chapel.
outside the chapel, looking at the chapel, it's just to the area to the right.
I don't know where the chapel is.
They've added a lot of this. They've added a lot of stuff there.
Yeah. And you have to find a good spot because there's a lot of construction trailers around.
So I know we don't have time, but when you stitch something that's vertical and then you have stuff that's horizontal, how do you do that?
Actually,
Uh,
Lightroom can do it pretty well. You just give them
Lightroom,
all-
Photoshop, any
Yeah.
program that works with panoramas doesn't care that it doesn't have to be a single line. It doesn't have to be a single line going left to right or up and down. You can have a whole bunch of them that, as long as they overlap, it'll put them
Yeah.
together.
It'll figure it out. It'll take it a while, but it'll figure it out.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I did this shooting the center column, shooting the whole structure. And then I moved to the right a little bit to go from the right-hand vertical column over. And then to the left and go do 5 images vertically from the left-hand column.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yep. Good job, Jim.
Yeah,
Oh,
good,
thank
right.
You get the prize for the most images.
I don't think so. I think I heard somebody had some. more.
Well, yeah,
Mhm.
Jim's.
This one's Jan's.
Mhm.
This one looks, I don't know, it looks a little bit crooked. Not really. It does bulge up a little bit in the center, but
Yep, it does. Yep, this was taken about 3 or 4 minutes after sunrise and the sun is behind me.
okay,
Yeah.
beautiful. It would have been cool
Yep.
if there'd been like a duck right there.
I'll let them know the next
Yeah,
time.
let
I'm
them
there.
know. Just tell them big of ducks to come over there and sit in the
Uh,
water.
That's a great landscape.
Yeah.
I love how the clouds actually stay within the boundaries of the framing.
Lake.
Matching the
Yeah.
water at the bottom. With the framing, that the
Right.
clouds don't extend out of the top of the image like that, and that framing matches what's going on in the bottom. That's
Mhm.
very nice.
And the trees kind of keep us in, on
Yep.
the sides too.
You,
So,
you've got balance
Right.
with that. Mhm.
Thanks.
Ellen, see the difference here? Even though these trees are kind of small, they're still balancing these trees. So your tree was way too big for the other side.
I see it.
Yeah. All right, everybody's getting tired.
We're putting Fong to sleep.
This one is Sherry's, and Sherry Kaczynski. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is crooked. The buildings are kind of leaning.
Mm-hmm.
So you can use Lightroom to do this and just, constrain the crop. That's going to lose, you're going to lose stuff though if you do that. So be careful. But other than that, I mean, there's a lot of water here. I'm not sure I want all that water. What do you think, Jim?
Yeah, I found it with there's so little actual like subject content that it became more, about, okay, there's this big diagonal line with, the water on the left and the sky and stuff, I mean, water on the right, sky and stuff on the left. There's really not a lot to see or focus in on as far as, buildings and stuff. You have those two buildings in the left side, and then really, not a lot going on after that, beyond that in this image. That's, that's kind of the focal point. And then it just, it just kind of goes downhill left to right from there, as far as, what there really is to see in the image.
Yeah,
It loses interest from left to right.
Right. Yeah. There's like this big, like a big red water tower sitting right here. That would help. But the problem is everything is getting so small. And that is one of the problems with using a longer lens. This says 55. It's not too bad. But because you're basically, I mean, even the city in the background looks kind of small. So yeah, that's the only thing bad about using a pano when you've got stuff that is far away from you. Is it, maybe if you'd used like a 70 millimeter or 100 millimeter, bringing all this a little closer and shot it, then maybe it would have worked better, I think. So yeah, everything's just too far away.
Yeah. Okay.
And this is Jim.
I put this in here to bring up an example of a technique, because what I actually was doing with this was shooting video with the drone and had the drone flying sideways for 10 seconds over this lake, making a video of this sunset. However, video is simply a series of still frames. So what I did for this image was about every 2 seconds in the video, I grabbed a still frame out of the video and then stitched 5 frames together that were just still frames out of the video taken at 2-second intervals to create this.
Yeah.
So that's something to think about. You can, you don't have to necessarily shoot, still photos to stitch them together. If you've got a video, you can go and pull frames from a video and do it too. So this was just put in there as an example to bring up that as a technique to think about.
Aren't they less resolution when you take them out of video though?
In this case, from a drone, yes, but then when you stick 5 of them together, you've got 5 times the resolution of one frame.
All right. Yeah. So it's like 5 images.
And and like I say, it was filmed in 4K. It was a 4K video, and then it was 5 frames taken at 2-second intervals, out of the chopped out of the video.
This one is Diana's.
Yeah, I sent you the wrong one.
Just so before you go, Jim, just so that one has an understanding, 4K is 4,000 pixels, and 8x10 is 3,000 pixels.
Oh, it's a big. Each one of those frames is pretty big.
Yeah, they're reasonable.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to do with this.
I was distracted by the tower got cut off on the left side and the tree got cut off on the right side. And I didn't.
And that's why I'm saying I sent the wrong one.
Okay. Yeah, because the issue with this one is all the interest, the bright air of the image and all the things to see are on the left. And then when you get to the left, I mean, when you get to the right side, it's all dark trees.
I know, and
And-
I had opened up all the shadows on all those trees. I completely opened up all the shadows on the trees, so I'm frustrated.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking, you got that bridge over there that's all illuminated with the LED lights and everything way over on the left side that's cut off. I'm thinking, except I'm getting dizzy now watching the screen. But if you imagine, you see that kind of yellow building in the middle, and then the trees start. If you imagine that it was cut there and the trees were gone, but then it was extended to the left, and you got that whole bridge that's all lit up with the LEDs on that side. I'm thinking that would be a much more interesting composition than this, where it all of a sudden just becomes trees on the right.
Yeah, I couldn't do it because there were people there. That's the problem. You run into the bridge, you run into the walkway, and I tried to use Robert's way of making people disappear. And that's why I did it. I know I see it, and I could not figure out a way to get the people out of there. So either I
push
should
them.
I was thinking about that.
Push them.
Yeah, and every time I would get all the people out, some bicyclists would go by.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with people being in a picture like this. You saw the two.
Yeah, but they were blurry.
Oh, but that's okay.
They would have been blurry people. Thank you.
This is Leon's.
Diane, check your chat.
Uh-oh.
Little overexposed Leon a little bit. He's a little contrast. It was kind of flat. But it'd be really cool if there's like this bushes was covered with butterflies. Where are the butterflies?
He
my
has enough.
concern was I didn't have enough room.
There's one right there.
Where is my chat?
He has enough pictures in his archives that he could have, pasted them in Photoshop.
This Leon's backyard is all about attracting butterflies, guys.
Give me another month, that full left-hand side, that tree would be with number yellow flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just needed a little more boom oomph to it. And again, you've lost all your data up here, so these whites are not gonna come back. So yeah, make sure you expose for that sky and then lighten this up.
Yeah, the sun kept going in and out on me. I took like 300 pictures because the sun would come out, come in, and then you got to move fast enough when I just couldn't.
Right. That's what it does in Florida. This was Valerie's. Valerie. Needs a little more contrast. Jim?
It is a nice view.
Yeah. Just a little flat.
The white part in the water on the right side. On the right side is a little bit of a visual distraction.
Yeah, it looks like it's a shallow spot.
That's what I figured. It was, a shallow spot. Just visually, it competes with the mountain in the background being the same, being white like the mountains in the background.
We really don't need all that water.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good job, Lynn.
Yeah. Just got rid of that light spot. I mean, there's a little bit over here too, but it's not quite as noticeable as it was over here. But sometimes, just make it more of a panorama than when you started off with. So you see where I started and ended up here. Valerie, you see that? I lost her.
I actually did it 3 times. There was people on the left and there was a tree branch that hung out on the right, and so I cropped it quite a number of times, and it looked angled on the sides. I had to kind of do the horizon. So
yeah, I mean, really, the only thing that that's an issue is this thing on the bottom, and just remember, contrast with your friend. Everybody forgets that. Even I do sometimes. Contrast helps the picture a lot. And then Jim, go ahead and do this one quick.
Yeah.
We got to still get.
Yeah, I threw this in because I wanted to touch on something that Robert actually already touched on that you can do is you can also do, an HDR series and then put them together. I, for a lot of reasons, with shadows, reflections, that window and stuff, couldn't use lighting for this shot. And you see how expansive this room is. I mean, look at the piano on the right. And then look up, at how expansive this is actually the foyer of a house. This is just the entryway when you come in the front door. And to get it all in there for the cover, I actually shot 5-step bracketed sequences, 5 exposures from dark to light because of the dynamic range with the window and everything else going on. And it was actually originally 6 frames across the top, 6 frames across the middle, 6 frames across the bottom, each one of them being 5-step HDR. So it was actually, 18 times 5. So it was like 95 images, 95 exposures first. And then it got to, the HDRs got taken down to 3 rows of 6. It all got stitched together. It got sent to the magazine. And then when the magazine cropped it, it was actually much bigger than this. What they cropped out of it was essentially, 3 rows of 5 to go onto the cover. But so I wanted, and in order to eliminate distortion, this is something to think about with that. You think, oh, you want to use a wide angle lens for something like this. But you start introducing curvature from wide angle lens, and then you have all those images to paste together, and the software is going to have a heck of a time when it sees curvature meeting curvature meeting curvature. So this was actually shot at 50 millimeters to keep all the lines straight in every image. But a 50 millimeter lens is going to show you, hardly anything in this room in the field of view of a 50 millimeter lens. So that's why I say it was a 50 millimeter lens, 3 rows of 6, and each of those 6 was 5 exposures bracketed.
Well, that's the ultimate of panoramas.
But just to let you know what you can do, if you have to or need to or have a mind to.
And did you use Photoshop to put this together?
Yes, this was done in Photoshop.
Yeah, Photoshop could handle these big. Lightroom could do a lot.
This was massive.
Yeah, Lightroom could do HDR panoramas, as I saw. If you watch the video I made, they'll actually do them. But this many images, you would have to do it in Photoshop, and then you would also need a computer that can handle it, because if you don't have enough RAM, then your Photoshop won't be able to handle it either. So yeah, there's a lot of restrictions when you do something this big. All right, on to general real quick. This one is Jack's.
Oh, Jack, I really like that. I really like that shot. I think that's a very nice.
She looks like she's related to you. No, actually, she looks like she's related to Lori.
Yeah, he's my favorite subject.
I want to
tell me that's not an angelic cherub.
Yep. That's beautiful. And I want people to look at this image and make note of the aperture f8, on that. Yep. And
everything's in focus.
And because it's gonna come up later with another image.
So what are the deficits on this, Jim? What's not right?
The only thing that's like really jumping to my attention is lower left side of the image, above the shoulder, into the hair. That light colored area, kind of into the hair there, looks a little wonky.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what's that's where my eye is going up as far as anything kind of unusual looking in the image.
I accept that, and I tried working on it, and I couldn't fix it, but you got it. I accept that.
Yeah. This is Diana's.
And see, this is one where I would say this is verging on altered reality, because the processing has taken it beyond the realm of looking photographic, and there's repetitive cloning going on. If you're going to clone, try and pick different random things around, and the same thing that repeats over and over again close together. The human eye is very good at, or the human brain, I should say, is very good at pattern recognition, and repetitive cloning will jump right out at you like that.
These are Leslie's bats. That looks like their little faces are looking at us.
Yeah, I just couldn't figure out what that was.
Yeah, it's
a branch that's been repeated in a clone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but once she said it was a branch, then I got it. But
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that's a weird.
But yeah, you see what I mean about the processing. I would call that altered reality. When you, especially Lynn, if you do that again, zoom in on that bird like that, you see what I mean. It does not have a photographic look, about that at all.
I know she was trying to get the red pouch here because it's inbreeding, but they're not purple and they're not blue, so they're black. So yeah, the colors are. We got this nice red, pouch, but everything else kind of looks weird. Diana.
That looks like one of those highwaymen paintings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Barry, this poor boat is stuck right here. Oops. You needed to have some distance between the front of the boat and the front of the image.
Some breathing room.
Yeah, some breathing or some moving room, because it's like trapped right there in that little spot. This is gorgeous.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. This is Dom's.
Oh, am I supposed to say something?
Yeah, this is
Go for it. Please do.
This is the downtown Denver Art Museum.
Wow.
And as soon as I saw that pointed building, it reminded me of that movie, The Point, from the 70s. And what's incredible is what I photographed is only part of the building. There are even more areas of different designs to the building, but this is what captured my eye.
Right.
So I did about 40-second exposure, I guess it was 45 seconds, something like that. And yeah, it's a lot of hours in Photoshop. That's all I could say.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar.
Ask you about the sky, because it says 1/160th of a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sky doesn't look like that.
The sky is a 35, 40 some odd second exposure.
Yeah.
I took it on the same day. I thought I liked the sky that was there, but it was a little bit too stark. The sky would have been just black. And I didn't like it. I didn't like light gray. I didn't like dark gray. So I took another sky and of the same, shot I took and put that one in there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're familiar with Julia Anna Gaspadaro, or this other gentleman named Joel Chinchalar. I started looking, this is my second architectural shot that I ever did. I started looking at some of their photographs. I've always done scenics and landscapes and so on, and I just fell in love with their stuff. And when I was in Colorado visiting my buddy, a college buddy, I'm absolutely thrilled that I brought my cameras with me, because the shots that are possible there are absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
It wasn't a photo trip. I went to see my friend, but he said, bring your cameras. And I spent the day here photographing. This building is directly across the street from the Denver Art Museum. And I have a photograph of that also that I did the same day or a day earlier or prior. And just absolutely gorgeous architecture. Just beautiful.
Dom, did you have to do much straightening? Because this thing is like spot on straight.
Yeah.
Not too much. I shot it. I don't remember. I shot it with my 24 to 105.
It was like 60 millimeters, so that's pretty good. Yeah.
I was pretty far away, and I shot below this.
Right.
So this is like the top 1/3 or 1/2 of what I shot. So it kind of eliminated some of it. Yes, there was a little bit of distortion on the left and the right, which I straightened out a little bit. But
good job.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. If you ever get out there, just go online and look at it. Just Google it. Denver Art Museum and the downtown Denver Library. Beautiful buildings.
Dom,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna go there and shoot this shot. I'm just happy that you did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you've done it.
So
We don't need to do it.
What I'm most happy about
Yeah.
is the fact that you presented it in the manner that you did.
Yeah.
So if I see any more shots from you that does not meet this quality, I am going to come down on you like buildings on,
You know,
on bricks.
it's funny. I've taken pictures for 45, 50 years, but this is one of the ones that pleases me the most when I look at it. I've got a few others that I've done recently. Again, because of following these two people and seeing what they do, I started looking at small things rather than landscapes.
Yep.
And I've got a couple of pictures of just one of a 3-leaf vine growing out of a dead stump. Another one of these little 3 or 4 point flowers. I do everything in black and white. 99% of what I do is in black and white. And just, like a vine wrapped around this tree. And, I'm starting to photograph things that I never really looked at before.
Good.
And in black and white. And, this is about 15 hours or more in Photoshop. And it's all gradients. 99% of this is gradients, just getting subtle changes and so on. And I'm thrilled. I could sit there all day and do this on a photograph. And get them looking like that.
Well,
but I have some others that look as good as this, though, I think.
Good. Well, we'll look forward to see them in the future.
Yep.
This one is Diana's.
And this was the one you were talking about, the aperture.
No.
No, it's 8. You got F8. You're good.
Okay, good. Phew.
No, this is not the one that I wanted to use in comparison for, the difference in choosing an aperture.
I think I'd eliminate some of the more of the adult, because it really isn't, what is all this up here? We don't need it.
Mm-hmm.
And be more concentrated on the little kid.
There you go.
Yeah, that's it.
Is that all that needed it?
Yeah. I mean, there's this little stuff right here, but
yeah, then I got too close to the leg.
Yeah. So that's kind of hard to get rid of, but yeah.
But with what you have cropped now, Lynn, now I go right to, right to what the intended,
I'm too busy looking at what the heck is this up here? If I get rid of most of
You're
that.
exactly right, Lynn. Don't need to see all that up there, but now we get right to the intention of,
so cutting off
the
that
story
leg
that
is
was to be told.
okay. See, I always have a hard time with crop, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Cutting off that leg is okay, huh?
Well, look, I mean, see,
because having that's better than having that sliver of light,
space,
on the right. It's better than having, you have, because then you've got the light of the wall, then you've got the leg, then you've got the light of the wall, then you've got the edge of the frame. Now you just have like a framing element that keeps you in the frame.
Yeah, totally. That's a much better shot.
Even if you had just taken one step to the right and shot him from that angle, that probably would have been better.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
It is what it is. So, do the best you can with, get rid of the stuff that's pulling your eye away from, your main subject.
Mm-hmm. All right. Get your masking brush ready, Lynn.
Yep.
Get your masking brush and set saturation about -60 and give it a little yellow tint and brush that tree real quick with and set the auto mask on when you do it. There in that panel, top of that panel, auto mask. Under density. There you go. Yeah.
Excuse me.
So
you may have to. Did you set the saturation down?
Yeah.
Okay.
By a little bit. Yeah, not enough.
No, not by no. That's why I said go put it down around 60, and hit it. Yeah, like I say, the idea is just take the blue out of the tree so that it doesn't, the tree's too blue. Just there you go. It's getting much better. That's the idea. You don't have, I just wanted Brian and everybody to see the idea there.
So I needed to mask the whole, well, it looks like.
Yeah, I got a little carried away in the stuff.
Like I say, it's just quick to show you the idea.
Yeah, yeah, just a little too dark, see? And it's blue. So.
Okay.
Yeah, you would have to kind of zoom in and really go easily, take your time with the branches.
Is that on the Parkway just out of Townsend in Tennessee?
It's on the Parkway. I don't have the memory you do.
That's just outside of Townsend on the Parkway.
This one is Brian as well. I don't know. Let's see. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, now back it off again because it's supposed to be a little bit blue.
Yeah.
It does look a little blue there, but that's more like it. There you go. Much better.
Yeah, and this obviously is a shadow, so that's going to be blue anyway. You could probably get rid of that by.
But that's looking much better. What you're doing to it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So
it was pretty heavy. Yeah, pretty heavy color cast there to start with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that looks much more natural.
Yep.
It does.
This one is Sherry Kaczynski.
Yeah.
She's gonna have one of those frames on there.
And the issue with that stroke around there is that it touches right up against the anther of the flower in the bottom, and you have an intersection of that stroke with the anther of the flower, and that's a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's a little overexposed, so we could if I just took it back a little bit, get a little more detail in the flower.
The high key presentation is nice.
Yeah.
The high key the high key and the very soft out of focus and everything is a very good look. And then that hard stroke, in that respect too, just is visually jarring with that whole soft focus and high key look. All of a sudden you have that very sharp, dark line around everything that visually breaks that.
Can you point it out, Jim? I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Point what out?
The frame.
The frame. Oh, okay. Sorry.
That's called a stroke.
It's called a stroke.
Yeah, and
I didn't know what that was.
Yeah, there's a lot of flower photographers that do this a lot, but and I think they do it too much, to be honest with you. Again, and that's here. You're putting your flower into like a box, which.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Sherry.
Yes.
Why did you stroke this image?
I did remove it for competition. So.
She forgot.
Okay.
Yeah, but even for non-competition, you got to remember, make sure if you're going to do it, make sure it's not hitting any part of your main part of your picture. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that intersection where the yellow anther of the flower touches the stroke is that's a tough bit right there.
No.
Sherry?
Yes.
If you don't want to hear from me again, don't stroke their images.
Don't do any stroking. Be quiet, Robert. Your voice sounds terrible. We still got a few more to go here.
Maybe he needs to hurry up and go see his wife.
I like this little bug.
I would like to see another version of this without that little bright piece of leaf from the upper right. If that could be removed, that
what I was thinking about was something like this.
That's an option too. That's a theme, but yeah.
That works.
Yeah, it changes the whole. It makes it an entirely new image from what was presented. Absolutely.
I mean, because really, it looks like the focus is on the bug. Yeah. This part of the flower isn't in focus anyway. So, and all this other stuff just sort of.
Yeah, you can even pull it back a little bit more to the right. Just stretch that. You can stretch that, crop it. Yeah, there you go. That. Yeah.
Honestly, I hate bugs, so I've been debating whether to even remove it.
I like the bug.
I like the bug because it's like, that's the first thing I saw when I saw those pictures, like, oh, look at that cool bug.
Save the bug, save the.
Save the
Looks like
bug.
the flower. It looks like the flower's got its eye on that bug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the bug.
Thank you. This one is Kieran's.
Lynn, zoom in like right between the eyes on this one. Okay. This is the one I was talking about. You saw Jack got a very similar look at f8. However, this one is f2.8. And if you look, I can't even find anything that's actually in sharp focus in this. If you pan around in his face, you'll see neither eye is in focus. I can't find anything on the face that's in focus. It's just at f2.8. Whatever was in focus was so narrow that you can't even determine where
Almost
it's in
looks like
focus
his
in the
hair is
image.
in focus.
It's not quite tack
Not even
sharp.
quite
It's,
that, yeah.
but yeah, like I say, there's nothing that's actually tack sharp in focus. Wherever it's, it's just, it's soft.
Yeah.
Versus you still had that beautiful soft background and everything going on, picking a deeper aperture. Jack was able to go all the way to f8 on his image and get the eyes, beautifully sharp, on child and whatnot, but with it, and it still goes, soft. So that's I just wanted to point out, if you're going to shoot a lens wide open for something like this, make sure it's a lens that actually is tack sharp wide open. Not all lenses are tack sharp when they're wide open.
Okay. And that's a 200 millimeter. What lens was this? The Sony. The Sony. It's a 200.
Yeah, 7240.
70 to 200. Yeah, that should be pretty good at 2.8.
This is very cool.
Yep. And an excellent example of minimalism, Lynn.
Yeah. I finally figured it out.
Hey.
I had to go all the way to England to find it.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I've got a zillion pictures of puffins, and this one, these white rocks are just covered with bird poo, and so they're white. And then to have most of the time there was blue sky behind it or gray sky, and I just found this spot and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I actually got this shot. So thank you.
Very nice.
This one is Lee's.
Yep. Heavy blue tint in the sky in the background, and just overall subject matter, it's great for your photo album from a trip at home, but not a competition entry.
What I was seeing what he was trying to do here is he had the lines,
Mm-hmm.
and it would have probably been better if the boat was a little closer. This is gorgeous.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look at the colors in his wing or his body.
Yeah.
Now I have a question. The background, it doesn't look like that on mine.
Huh?
What,
and the next one, the same thing.
Yeah.
What's the question?
You see how it looks striated, or I don't know what to call it, but my background on my computer doesn't look like that.
That's a moire pattern that has to do with Lynn's screen resolution and then your screen resolution intersecting with each other on your end after it comes over Zoom. It's not really in the image. Yeah. In fact, Lynn, if you zoom in, you'll probably see it disappear. So,
okay, I got you.
It's not real. It's a moire pattern that's just happening on your screen. It's not in the image, so we know that when we're judging it.
Yeah, the only thing, Lee, and I think I would have done it was going to Photoshop and use the eyedropper and click on here and then use your brush and kind of get rid of these dark spots right here and here, especially. Right. This one doesn't bother me as much, but these do. So just so they're not so.
Yeah. Great capture.
Yep. And why is he sleepy? Was it a cold morning or something?
Well, This is, very rarely do they ever stay still.
Yeah.
The sulfurs.
Yeah, those sulfur butterflies are constantly moving.
Yes, and so when I get one that's still for like 5 seconds, I just sit there and wait. But what I like about this is its face.
Yeah.
That you almost see a human face in there.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I like it.
Yeah, this is, I mean, you've got it at f4, which he must have been smack dab straight, parallel with the plane of your camera to get all this in focus.
Yeah, that's the only way I'll shoot it.
Yeah, and at 1/500, yeah,
at least
1/500 of a second,
F5.
that's still pretty, pretty good. I would have been shooting this at like 1/2000th, just so I didn't wiggle.
Yeah, I'm with you, Lynn.
Yeah. This is
Right, this is beautiful. Love the abstract look. Real quick, Lynn, grab your brush mask and just set your saturation to about -65 or so, and make the brush small, and just brush over those like RVs and campers and buildings. Make it small with a small feather, and just take the blue out of those. Though we don't need the blue in those. Now they look real. But the rest of this that
beautiful,
that abstract pattern in the water in the front and everything, that and the yellow picking up the yellow at the top of the image and everything, that the great big V shape in this, that's from right to left going on with, then you've got the little village and the campers and everything centered within that big triangle there. That works great. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
This is so different from what I normally see from you, Fawn. This is a wonderful image.
Yep. This one is Sylvia.
That is so hard to find that tree in even lighting.
Yeah.
Every time I've seen that tree, it's just had dappled, horrible lighting on it. And I've always wanted to make this shot and never been able to because the light's never been good.
Sylvia, why did you make it black and white?
Well, why did I?
Yeah,
well,
why didn't you? Why
didn't you?
Well, it's part, what I did was I took it in silver. First I did it all black and white, and then because for me, the reason I titled it Mixed Emotions, because when I looked at it, part of it was very beautiful and curvy, and then you get to that bottom and it's just like frenetic and confusing, and it. So I actually took it in Silver Effects Pro and did some control points and just brought out some of the green and left, everything else black and white. I was just trying to.
But the problem with is my eye goes right to that green, and that's all I see.
Yeah.
So without it, this is much more important.
Now we get the pattern,
Yeah.
and you can see the distinct difference between the pattern in the top half and the pattern in the bottom half.
And again, our trusty little brush. Just highlight those lines. I'm just again doing it pretty poorly, but just to emphasize that. And you can take it.
Are you lightening them? Is that what
Yeah,
you were
I'm lightening them just a little bit, just to get to kind of emphasize those curves. See what I'm saying?
That was Colleen's lecture that she did that, where she was,
Yep.
So where is this tree?
It's at Marie Selby Gardens.
Yep, it's at Selby Gardens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never managed to see that tree in overcast lighting.
Yeah, it's hard. It's always like shadowy,
Yeah.
So just a little bit of, just kind of using the brush along those lines, it makes a big difference. And, let me show you where it's at.
Good. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
You could, as I say, you could also, if you wanted to make it even more, I would say dramatic or graphic, if you use some gradients,
right,
like in center, you could have lightened up that right side slightly and then had it slowly light, and then as you go around that little round point there, darken even more into that little chasmic area there.
All right. Yeah. So you can do the same thing, just darken some of these areas too. Yeah.
They're a lot of fun.
It's very dramatic.
Boy.
This one is Jan.
Mine.
Mm. Yeah, another beautiful panorama.
This
Yeah,
was
little-
just taken down the road
Yeah.
from me at the Wekiwachi Preserve.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
This
Yeah,
is a
and I
little
know
dark.
what Lynn's gonna do to it and punch it up a little bit.
A little dark down in here.
yeah, I played with that. I did. I played with that a couple of times. So I was kind of undecided. So I kind of went back the darker way.
Yeah. And I'm just using a little bit of vibrance. I love it, the light, light down in here
Mhm.
and then this light here. So yeah, I didn't do much, but yeah, this was just too
Mhm.
dark.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, I like what you did, Lynn. Mhm.
This is Karen's.
I
Mhm.
think this is such a great shot.
Yeah.
What were they doing, Karen?
Street dancing.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a well-timed, fun little
Timed that
moment there.
perfectly, yeah.
And the person on the left, applauding next to the person with the camera, that really completes the story right there.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that. She makes the photo.
Mhm.
Yeah. Wait, I was
Hey.
gonna say, the only thing I think I would do is this guy's face is a little bright.
You can warm him up too.
Yeah, warm him up and yeah, now he looks like natural. Yeah, his face was obviously his face was facing right at the sun or something or the bright sky, and he was just too bright. So
That's because he's a white guy trying to dance.
now his voice is back.
Yeah.
And this one's mine.
Where is the contrast?
Where is the contrast? This is way more contrast than it started off with, believe me. It was so bright. You want more contrast? There you go. More contrast.
More cowbell.
There you go. Now, and this
What about
was
clarity?
This
What
was
about
not
clarity,
a,
Lynn?
This was not an infrared. This was a regular color image that I took and
Mhm.
converted it.
What about some clarity on the bottom?
Yeah, it was there was brown and green and blue and kind of orangey colored. I'm like, yeah. So I made it black and white.
Mhm. Oh, good choice.
That's great.
Thank you. We're almost there. This is great. This is 590. It's got to be a 590 nanometer, right,
Yeah.
Barry?
This is
Yellow and-
something called a super blue
super.
filter. It's
Yeah.
actually a full spectrum camera, and that's
spectrum,
blue.
okay.
That's visible blue and violet, and then it blocks all green and red and orange and yellow, and only shows infrared below 700.
All right.
So before you say anything, there are. If you look at the yellow and the blue against the sky,
Mhm.
the transition there, because the 700 nanometer light and blue and violet light focus at very different distances. So there's what looks like processing artifacts, but that's actually extreme chromatic aberration because of the differences in wavelength. And I was able to remove a lot of it, but not all of it.
And
Still a
only
great
Jim-
looking
and only
image.
Jim
Yellow,
and Barry
yellow
understand
and
that.
blue, complementary colors.
Yeah.
Especially when they're and the both being so vivid like that.
Yeah.
Work well together.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, this is actually a medical filter. It's called the BG3 filter. It's like a deep cobalt blue. They use it for color separation, but it happens to let infrared light through. So it works great as an infrared filter too.
Cool.
Barry has so many cool stuff.
I know, seriously. The
I
man
have
with
to-
the toys.
And this
You can
is
skip that, Lynn.
That's the R-rated one. We want to talk about that one.
That was
we find these kind of shots everywhere, don't we, Jim?
that was a that was a cell phone pano out the side of a convertible that I rented that I was driving through the desert, and when I passed by I just held the phone up and and just did a quick pano driving by, and when I saw that. But this next one,
Wait. That last one was well received.
by
Okay.
Robert.
On to the next one. This one is Valerie.
Yeah,
Valerie,
and but you know what, Lynn?
yeah.
I'm going to say don't do it, and I'll tell you why.
Oh, why?
Well, let us see. Let's see the difference. Okay.
There it is.
All right. All right. Now go back. Because what I see in this, the perspective has me up there in the sky with the birds, as if you're a bird. And that tilted horizon really effectively worked with that for me and gives me the idea of this is the view of a bird in the sky in this feeding frenzy. Birds are twisting and turning and, and that actual tilt in the horizon enhanced the the illusion for me of being in the bird's eye perspective in the feeding frenzy.
I want to know what that is.
Looks like an orca.
In that case, Jim, would you exaggerate it just a bit?
I think it's just about right. You could try exaggerating it, but what I see there just worked for me. Even a little bit. You lose too many birds doing that. Had it.
Hello. Hello.
Who are you talking to?
Yeah, I was just wondering. I thought I lost everybody. I want one more shot. We got one more left. This one is Valerie's as well.
Okay. Do me a favor, Lynn. Zoom in just into all that sparkly water somewhere. Now go to your HSL panel and take the purple slider and push the saturation all the way to the left on the purple slider. There's a lot of chromatic aberration in that water that, and you can do the magenta one too.
Guys,
There you go.
Valerie.
Now the water looks real. Yeah.
Oh, Valerie, you see what we're doing? See what we're talking about here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's chromatic aberration in the lens, and in this case, that's just a quick way to get rid of that chromatic aberration artifact from the lens. Is just push those sliders over like that.
I almost think I would make this almost take the blacks and make it a little darker. Make him a little darker.
That's a cool bit of information. Huh?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, because
I like this shot. That's a nice shot. I love the silhouette.
Yep.
Make it dark. Would you try to take some of the highlights off of that water, or is that okay?
No.
Okay.
Nope. That's what makes this image work is those highlights. But that's why I wanted to show you how to fix those highlights because those highlights are so integral to this image that you don't want that purple fringing, being visible in that.
It's see, Barry, he has somewhere to go where your dragon boat didn't.
Yeah. Well, believe it or not, that shot actually had tons of space all around it. And
oh no!
I had a hard time. It's when I didn't crop it like that, it just didn't look balanced.
Yeah.
I have a hard time with that still.
Yeah, I mean, remember, anything that's moving's got to have somewhere to go in the picture, or it looks weird. It looks like it's trapped. So.
Yeah, I cropped the back end of this one off so that he was moving forward.
Yeah, he looks good.
Good.
Awesome, guys.
A lot of great images this time. Great submissions.
Thank you, guys. I always learn something.
Yeah.
Good night, guys. Everybody.
Hey, wait a minute. So somebody asked the same question.
Less than last week, and we had 61 images last week. We talked a lot of stuff tonight.
Lynn, what was the name of that photographer that does the guy that went to Denver?
The guy that went to Denver.
The guy that went to Denver that shot those buildings, is he still on or did he go?
Dominic?
Oh, that's Dom.
Yeah, he's still on, but he's muted.
Oh.
Okay, what was the
Dominic,
question?
what was the name? You mentioned two photographers that you follow.
Oh, Joel Chinchalar, he's Dutch.
Can you spell that?
I love how
But just look up B&W Vision. That's his website. Or Black and White Vision. And it's Chinchalar. It's a Dutch name.
Yeah, I see it.
And if you watch his videos, which I've watched them all, and I've attended his live videos, seminars, and so on. He's brutal to understand. I've watched his videos 2 and 3 times. The woman's name is Julia Anna Gaspadaro. She's Greek.
Can you spell that, or can you put it on the
Gospadardou?
GOS?
PAR.
Uh-huh.
Gaspadaro, yeah, DOU. Or B. It's either P or B, I forget. But you just put Julia Anna, she'll pop up. GOSPARDOU.
Okay.
And
thank you.
They've written books together and whatever, and they look at them. He was international photographer of the year twice, and she was once.
Okay,
Their
cool.
work is incredible.
Thank you. Night, everybody.